Yeah. What are you, so as I noted, we're here in San Francisco for JP Morgan 2025. It's day two of the conference. Now I'm not going to ask for a detailed insight into your meetings over the course of the last day or so, but what is sort of a day in the life of a biotech CEO or you specifically look like here? What are you looking to accomplish and how are you spending your time?
So at the moment, look, JP Morgan is a good venue, to meet people from the industry, right? It's one of the biggest gatherings, so to say, from biotech and pharma industry in the year. Mm-hmm. I think the big advantage is also you have easier access to senior leaders in the company. Mm. Right? If you want to have partnering discussions and BD business development discussions, or kind of also with investors, etc., etc. So this is easier because the leadership, the decision makers, so to say, are now at one place. Yeah. Right. If you reach out to a company, then you go through search and evaluation, you go to BD, you go to this, and it takes a couple of more steps, right, in order to reach the decision makers and to reach basically the people from development, research, whatever you need in order to progress the discussions. Mm-hmm. Here it's all kind of at one place, and the meetings kind of happen directly with more decision makers at the table than it is in other things. So what we do at the moment is kind of starts at 8 and ends at 11. Yeah. So more or less every day. So need a bit of a vacation after that.
Yes. 100%. You'll be back in the Swiss Alps next week.
Not really, but I'm thinking about it.
Well, that brings up a question I wanted to ask you. So like I said, when we last spoke last week, you were there, but 3T is headquartered here in San Francisco, is that correct?
Yes, 3T is based in South San Francisco, so it's where it all started in Stanford, so to say, right? And we kept the company and the research here. We have a small base in Switzerland for talent acquisition, so to say. I mean, Basel is an interesting town. So from a pharma perspective, right, you have Roche, Novartis, and others. And I mean, as these companies are also restructuring and people looking for new opportunities, etc., not everyone can move to San Francisco. Not everyone can accept a U.S. contract in a way. So we made the decision: if they can't come to us, we come to them. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So and then we opened a small office in Switzerland, and that enables us access to talent. And so at the moment it's more like development people, a few there, so to say. It's very small, and but as we grow in the clinical space, we may grow this as well further. Yeah.
Is that home for you, or is San Francisco?
No, for me, it's actually a mix between Europe and here. So I'm frequently here. Yeah. And officially, my home is actually in New Jersey.
Oh, okay. So not quite splitting the difference, but
yeah. So that's where my home is.
Yeah. Very nice. When you talked about coming out here and spending your time, forging partnerships and meeting with business decision makers as opposed to sort of trying to work your way past gatekeepers out there in the real world. How much prep work goes into that? Like making sure that you're going to be in the right place at the right time, creating meeting opportunities in advance of coming here, or are you just so good you can like walk the streets and recognize all the people you want to meet with?
No, I mean, certainly you have over years in pharma industry and in worked in 2-3 companies, you have build a network, because I mean people also kind of branching out, right? So they're moving from companies to other companies, and your network grows a bit in this way naturally, right? Mm-hmm. So former friend from Roche is now at Gilead, another one is at Novartis, and so on and so forth. So you can reach out and say, hey, can you connect me with A, B, and C, right? Who may be interested in looking at our target, right? And this goes both ways, right? So to say, and then you get connected and you get contacts to the people who are relevant in terms of BD, but also basically who are relevant in terms of development and research to make a decision in order, is that a molecule this company may be interested in and wants to have in their portfolio or not. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's how things work, right? In this way, and it's a lot of relationship business, right? And this is also why JP Morgan is good. It's kind of, you meet them in a quite let's say also quote unquote social setting, at various receptions and this and that, and then you can interact and can connect, and that speeds the things up.
Hence the going until 11 p.m. part.
Exactly.
Yeah. Last year at JPM, the tone in virtually every conversation I had was this cautiously optimistic take that we're climbing out of a terrible, M&A, venture capital market environment. I'm not sensing that as much this year yet. I feel like the tone is a little bit more stable now. What do you think? Like, what's your gut tell you about 2025 in terms of, some of the activity that's going to make the world go around for biotech?
Yeah, I think we can probably say we reached bottom, right? So to say what's still possible to sustain an industry like biotech and stuff. I think there's a lot of quote unquote holding pattern activities going on, right? People talk and we're getting these conversations, but in order to make decisions, I think the change in the administration, right, in a week essentially makes people a little bit pause, right? So you say it's quote unquote unpredictable probably what will happen under the new administration from all perspectives, geopolitically, tariffs, right? What will happen with pharma? Pricing, M&A, and all these types of things, right? Will there restrictions which we have seen or some people experience, will they be lifted, will they not? Will the tariffs come, will the economy go up, go down? These types of things everyone has a different perspective, and I'm not a banker, I'm not an economist, but when you speak to the people, a lot of them kind of saying, we will wait maybe a month to two, so probably to March, something like that, get a feel where the world is going, where the things are going with the new administration. And then I think if that is quote unquote positive or neutral to what we see now, actually I'm cautiously optimistic that things will go up in 25.
Yeah, but it's like everyone else, charting a course right now or planning the course probably isn't the smartest thing to do until we know.
Exactly. So we, as I said, our horizon in order to finish the race is not next 6-8 weeks, right? Our horizon is more 6-8 months, because you have to factor in a bit of a standstill, so to say, for the next 2-3 months due to the big changes, I guess, or eventually big changes to come.
Yeah. So what work is going on right now? Give us a sense for what you said you're working on IND enabling right now. So what's going on day to day, and what's the next big sort of milestone for 3T?
So as I said, we have kicked off the manufacturing part. So we're waiting basically to get our first kind of GLP materials, GLP GMP materials in our hand to run kind of in a way in vivo tox studies, so to say, with organoids, and that will tell us if what we have seen in cell lines and what we have seen in preclinical thing holds true in quote unquote human samples, and materials. And then we really gearing up with writing the phase 1 protocol, preparing interactions with the FDA and probably EMA in Europe, to have eventually representation of the clinical trial on both sides of the Atlantic, for patient recruitment, speed, and also introduction into the market, to get the physicians familiar with the molecule, etc. So that's kind of where 25 will be a busy year, a very busy year. In addition, we have to recruit the talent we need in order to make that happen, especially on the clinical side and clinical execution side, clinical operations. So that's the next piece which will come, and then hopefully by the end of the year we can push the button and file for the IND.
Yeah. Well, I wish you luck on that endeavor. What haven't I asked you this morning that if I were a better interviewer I would have asked you?
There's nothing, I think. I mean, maybe I ask you a question. What you're hearing in JP Morgan? What's your feel, basically, what's coming out of this?
It's early for me. I got into town yesterday, late in the afternoon. So I don't have quite the sense just yet. Like I said, I'm not feeling as much sort of trepidation and caution as I think I did last year, but maybe after a few more meetings, I'll pick up on that. But yeah, I'll let you know.
No, thanks a lot. It was really fun. I really enjoyed it, and thanks so much for the opportunity and your time.